Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. I'm on a mission to help you serve as many customers as you want this year. And one of the easiest ways I can do that is give you my Tom app by Notary Coach, absolutely free in 2023. I encourage you to download it, check out the free resources we've created with you, and tell everyone about your business. You can go to notarycoach.com/Tom, TOMM, for top of mind method. I'll put that link in the chat. I'm here with my co-host, my fabulous co-host, Laura Biewer. Hey, Laura.
Hi, Bill. Hi to everybody else. So glad I could join you today. My name is Laura Biewer, and I am founder of Coach Me Laura. And what I do is develop confident and competent notaries. I also do that through real world series, state-specific training, as well as where are the specialty jobs. And that's Laura Biewer Presents. And I'm so glad that I'm going to have questions to answer today. So thank you and welcome.
I think you're going to have lots of great questions, and you can find out more about Laura at coachmelaura.com. I'm going to post her link in the chat for you as well. We have two Yes, Laura.
I wanted to announce for those who have been trying to get into my inner circle, I've changed that access so that it's easier for everybody. And all you do is go to coachmelaura.com, scroll down the homepage, you'll see a place to put your name and email address. Send that to me. You register one time only, you get the link, hold the link, it won't change, and you can use it every week. Easy peasy.
Piece of cake. And you can do that at coachmelaura.com. We are here with two incredible co-hosts. First up, from the Lawrence Institute of Notaries, Miss Judy Lawrence. Hey, Judy.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Bill, Laura, Matt, everybody. I'm Judy. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have a brick and mortar business where we do a lot of general notary or specialty notary work. I also do a lot of apostilles, and I am fortunate that I'm able to teach apostilles to many people across the country. Lots of stuff going on here, big time. I mean, big time. So, stay tuned. And I just want to thank you, Bill and Laura, for allowing me to host this month. It's really been a whole lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad that you've been here. So thank you, Judy. And you can learn more about Judy at lawrenceinstitutefornotaries.com. I did post that link in the chat for you as well. And our next incredible co-host, Matt Miller, founder of the California League of Independent Notaries. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. And again, my name is Matt Miller, president of the California League of Independent Notaries. For those who don't know what we are an advocacy group for notaries by notaries, and we strive to make your voice heard on policy decisions that affect you and your business. Also, I am co-author with Judy Lawrence of the Apostille Agent Survival Guide. Check that out on Amazon.com. And a busy mobile notary here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And also, I want to say thanks to Laura and Bill for having me this month. This has been so much fun, and I would love to come back anytime.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you for sure. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the book, Matt. You can get that on Amazon, of course. You can also go to allaboutapostilles.com to get a link direct to that book. And then I also want to encourage you, if you have read this book, right? This is probably, without a doubt, the most popular apostille book ever written, right? If you have read it, then please do the authors a great favor of going in and reviewing that book on Amazon. That is such a gift to authors when you can give them a review and guide other people who might be looking at this opportunity as well. All right, so the way TNT works, this is your time to get your questions answered about your business. You've got a huge pool of expertise as your hosts today. They specialize in apostille work. All three, Laura, Matt, Judy, all specialize in apostille work. They are all mobile notaries and loan signing agents. Judy has a physical location. Laura has a physical location where she visits clients. these are the types of questions that you can get answered to today. Very high level, deep level, how to grow a business. Laura, how long have you been in business as a notary?
As a notary, 19 years, this last January.
19 years. Matt's been a notary for...
I've been doing this full time for about 7 years, but if you count my experience as a New York notary, then I've been a notary for about 15 years.
Heck yeah, that counts too, right? Judy, how long you been a notary?
Mine is closer to 26 years. I was a notary for the law firm where I worked. But I didn't really get into all of the different things that notaries can do. When you work for a law firm, you basically do the same thing over and over again. It's whatever they ask you to do. So, but yeah, 26 years, huh? And I'm only 35.
You started so young.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm celebrating my 10-year anniversary as a notary this year. So this is a lot of experience, not only in the notary skill department, but in the longevity department. Like, how do you manage a business? How do you get more customers? That's the kind of stuff we love talking about. So use the raise hand feature. If you've got a question that you'd like to ask any of us, I'll facilitate that question. You might get a full panel discussion from us, and let's kick it off. Kunal, great to see you on. KK.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I have a couple of general notary questions. Is that okay?
Beautiful.
First question is, I had someone call me on Sunday about notarizing a bill of sale. And what was clear in my research was a bill of sale doesn't necessarily require notarization, but it's nice to have it as a formality. What wasn't clear in all the research I did was whether both parties have to be present, especially if they're in different states. So a little bit of confusion I had was, one thing I was reading was saying they could be in different places. One, I'm attesting and signing for one person who's physically present. In this case, the seller, they're going around crossing the border and going to another person to whom who's buying it, and they can notarize that. There was a little confusion there. And so, and then I have another question, but I don't know if you want to answer this first.
Let's start there and let Laura kind of map this out as well. KK, can you also kick off and tell us what state you're in? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas.
In Arkansas. All right, Laura, what do you say?
So first of all, yeah, I run into bill of sale on occasion where the desire is the signing parties. It's not because it's a document that is required to be notarized. I will tell you that whether it's one or two then becomes what the signers want, number one. And then number two is, if both are going to sign, it is not a problem for one to meet on one day with one signer and another notary totally different, or same notary if they're using Ron, to meet with the other person at another time and date.
The importance would just to make sure the certificates are correct, right?
Yeah, right. Meaning if it's not a document that already has notary wording on it, and a bill of sale, I don't believe does, because it's not a requirement, then they're also going to need to direct you on what kind of certificate they're looking for. Do they need to just have proof that this is the person who signed, or do they need for them to swear what was the contents of the document are true? Bill of sale is a business document. And so the ones I've done have all been acknowledgements, but that doesn't mean the next one will be. It's always up to the signer.
Awesome. KK, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I did an acknowledgement for the individual, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't, because based on what I was gathering, kind of leaned toward the answer you gave, but I wanted to be sure from the experts.
Right. And you said you had a follow-up question too, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I had another call for an I-9 verification. And again, on that research, I know you're not supposed to notarize. It's not a notarial act. You're an authorized representative. So any comments on, this person hasn't yet shown up there. I'm doing my research before they show up, but any other comments or things to be aware of? Do I get email from the employer authorizing me to say you're authorized, or just want to make sure I get that process right?
Yeah, great question. Laura, I'm going to start with you again, and then Matt, I'm going to roll over to you for any input on I-9.
My input's going to be limited because in California, we're not allowed to handle them, even though it's not notarized. If we have a commission in California, we're just not allowed to handle it. So having experience to, walk you through what you might need. I can tell you, I did do it before that pronouncement came from the Secretary of State, and it was, I was not requiring to get it in writing from the company that needed this done. We're talking 7-8 years ago, probably was the last time I handled something like that. So Matt, do you have anything different to add?
Yeah, my experience is also limited with these forms because California considers it an immigration document, so we can't touch them. But I think that Judy does these, and I'm going to defer to her.
Judy?
I do them. There are 2 ways to do them. One of them is that they bring you in the form and you sign as the authorized representative and do what you're supposed to do, which is authenticate one piece of information from the first column, which is usually always a passport. Or if they don't have that, then one from column B and one from column C. So the other way to do it, and it's becoming more and more relevant, is the company sends you a remote platform and you go in and you sign in, and they've already given you a password. And so you go in and you sign in, and then it's prompts. It's, did you look at the first, did you look at column A? Did you look at column B? Did you look at column C? Each one's a little different, but they're all basically the same. Sometimes they have already scanned the information in, so you don't have to do it. And sometimes you have to do it. So sometimes it tells you you have to upload whatever you're looking at it, and they're all different. So you just have to follow the instructions. And at the end, it says, congratulations, you've completed this. And always make sure to give my client a receipt, because there are a lot of times when whatever company they're going to work for will reimburse them for the cost. So that's basically what I know. And you never, ever put your stamp or seal on the document. And I will tell you that they try to bully you. They try to explain to you that their boss told them that it's okay to put the stamp or seal on there. And they try everything. And no matter what they try, do not do it, because a notary should not put your stamp or seal on the I-9 verification document. And if you do it and you get caught, that's not a good thing. So you don't want to do that. So that's what I know. And yeah, we do them frequently,
Beautiful. Thank you, Judy. And thanks
You're
for the
welcome.
handoff, Matt. KK, did that answer your question?
Yeah, it added some great insight. The confusion was more around for me, was more around, in one article was saying specifically, try to get something from the employer saying that they're allowing you to be the authorized representative, essentially. And that that can be an email, or it could be a statement also along with those documents they bring you, saying they're giving that employee permission to use a notary public. And so I was just wanting to make sure, if they didn't have that document, do I need to make sure that I have it? Because they're saying when you record this, you're not going to record it as a notarial act. You're going to record it as some kind of transaction, I-9 verification transaction, and make sure you have that proof that you are authorized to do it.
Yeah, I think that's where the receipt
Bill,
comes
can
in.
I add one thing?
Yeah,
Bill, can I add one thing?
please.
Remember when we did that I-9 course a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And the one thing that they told us is, if you're doing I-9 verifications and you keep a copy of one, keep a copy of every one. If you don't keep a copy, don't keep a copy of anyone. So it's either keep all the copies or no copies, because what he said that day, and it resonated with me, is if you ever get a visit from them and they want to look at your files and you say, I never kept a copy, you're fine. You're good. But if you say, well, I have a few over here, but then there were many that I didn't keep a copy of, that's not good. So you determine you're going to keep a copy of everything or not of anything. And my choice would be not of anything, but, you know.
Right there with you. And that training is free on the Notary Coach YouTube channel. It's still up there and still relevant. So
That's
KK,
great.
answer to your question too. So it's really kind of up, just like any document that even it would be notarized, it's up to the receiving party, right? So if that company got something and said, nope, this isn't an authorized person for our company, they would reject it. And then they'd either instruct the employee where to go find somebody who is, or they'd send them out or have an approved list or something along those lines. So I don't think it's something that you have to overthink too much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Great questions. Great way to spark us off here, guys. I want to take 1 minute to announce a special training, free training event today at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's 5 p.m. Eastern time, and a bunch of time zones in between that I can't keep straight right now. So we'll stick to Pacific. But Robbie Samuels is leading his low-tech, I have to read it, low-tech solutions for highly engaging Zoom meetings. He just released a book called Break Out of Boredom. It has blown my mind. It is so detailed. Like, if anybody else is sick of fluff, I am always tired of fluff. I like the nitty-gritty training, and Robbie's book delivers on that. As part of his launch, he's doing these free trainings. And at 2 o'clock today, you are invited. You just have to register on his Zoom link. So I'm going to put that in the chat here. If you're on today's call and you want a link to actually attend, just register real quick and you'll get that link. This is real training. There is no upsell. He's not selling anything. It's just a 90-minute training to teach you how to lead engaging events, whether you have 2 people on a Zoom or 500 people on a Zoom. So hopefully you can attend that. All right, let's move on. Sharon Johnson. Hey, Sharon, in California, how can we help today?
Hello, thank you so much for allowing me to ask a question.
Sure.
The question is regarding the form DS 3053, which is the statement of consent issuance of a U.S. passport to a child.
Oh, yeah.
And the question is, how do we notarize this form? Do we attach a certificate or do we notarize directly on the form itself?
What a great question, Sharon. In fact, I think we got a chance to answer this last week, but I'm going to bring up Laura because this is part of her real world training because it trips notaries up all the time. Laura, you want to take this?
Absolutely. So this form, first of all, the signer is the non-appearing parent because they expect both parents to appear when they're applying for a passport for a minor under 16. So this is that person. They're creating their statement. You will need to be very sure that you have a current form in front of you. So that means you want to look for the expiration date that's up in the top, I think, right-hand corner. And I think the previous one expired in 19, but the current one, it doesn't expire until the end of 23. And so you want to make sure you have a current form, and because they're set up differently. There was a problem with the 2019 version that asked for the notary to give themselves an oath at the very bottom of the page. And that's
Right.
We can't do that. So don't use that form at all. Make them give you the current form. Now the current form has changed. It's now got an acknowledgement in the wording in section, I think it's 6 is the
Right.
word there, and you'll see the word acknowledgement. And there are a couple things you'll want to do to make it work for California. One is that where it says location, you're going to turn that into your venue because there's no room really to write it above where the acknowledgement wording is. And so you would put your city, county, state, and the county state gives you your venue. The other thing is, I hope you have a mini stamp because you could put it up vertical on the side of the word seal or across the top of the word seal, because they didn't give you a lot of space. So do the best that you can. And the reason I recommend doing this rather than just putting one of ours on is that this is a federal form. And they tend to reject them when we attach certificates. So if we can make it comply, which of course, anything that goes out of California, we don't have to have the California format with all of the elements required, but we do have to have a venue, that's for sure. So make sure you have the right form. Try to use that form if at all possible to do that because it's a federal form. And there's a good chance they will reject if you attach an acknowledgement to it.
Thank you
right.
very much.
Great question, Sharon, and thank you for answering that in such detail, Laura. Laura does cover that document plus so many more in the real world training. And she's got, what are you up to? Like 20, 21
I
states?
think I'm almost at 25.
25 states. And you can find that at coachmelora.com/real, where all the replays are available for purchase. And you can review these states and see that document and how Laura does it, plus so many more. All right. Thank you, Sharon. Jerry in Texas, thanks for being here. How can we help today?
Hi, I'm from Texas. So I occasionally get requests to do a structured settlement signing. I don't know if that's one, as a notary, can I do that? And does my insurance cover that? Or do I need additional insurance for that? I mean, how do you feel when somebody calls and asks you to do that type of signing?
When you say structured settlements, are we talking about debt settlements? Like,
so I've seen some, yeah. So one of them is like sometimes when they go in and they buy their, let's say they have payments every year for the next 20 years, and now they want all their money now instead of waiting the full 20 years. I have
it's my
gotten
money and I want it now. Yes. Structured
Exactly.
settlements.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah. What a great question. I haven't heard this one come up. This is different than those debt consolidation types. So
Yeah.
Matt, do you have an opinion on this? I'll start with you first.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that these are not debt settlement packages. They are simply converting an annuity into a one lump sum cash payment, and there's probably an affidavit in there that needs notarized, maybe a power of attorney that needs notarized, and another document or so. So I would handle this just as you would any kind of specialty or general notary work appointment.
Okay, so then that leads me to my second question is, if it is a structured settlement where they're consolidating their debt, getting under a payment plan. I've done one of these like many years ago. And so I went to that type of signing. So that was where, does that make sense? Where she was consolidating all of her bills.
Yeah.
And then they were going to let her pay it out in so many months. And I really felt bad for her. But you know, it kind of tugged at my heartstrings when I was signing that document. Girl, but that's my personal opinion. I have to keep it separate than what she's wanting done.
Yeah, exactly, Jerry. And that's a fine line for us sometimes. Laura, what would you say in these situations?
So two very different kinds of assignments, but both of them require some notarization in the package. That's, you know, the main reason why you're being used. I personally choose not to do debt settlement. I do handle the structured settlements because I know that it's facilitating them getting their money.
Okay.
Whether or not I think they're getting the right amount isn't my business.
Mhm.
But and when I've done them, there's been 5 or 6 notarizations that are in that package.
Okay.
But I just choose not to do debt settlement because there's just in the vibe that I want to handle.
Okay.
I don't believe that the signers understand what they're signing.
I agree with you. All right. Thank you, Laura.
Great questions. Thank you, Jerry. All right, Pam, it's so nice to see you on TNT today.
Thank you. Well, I had somebody reach out to me today asking, he's divorced from his wife here and he needs a single status certificate. And I don't really know what that is.
I'm calling.
Yeah.
Because he's going back in the end of May to Armenia to get married. So it's something that shows that he's not married here.
Yeah, exactly. I think
So-
Judy runs into this quite a bit too, right? But
I'm
Judy-
not sure.
yeah, well, let's talk to
Yeah,
Judy.
no record of marriage.
Yeah, no,
Right.
Judy, why don't you go ahead and start?
A single status affidavit usually means were you ever married, were you divorced, are you single, what? Well, I have a template that we use for it. And usually when there's going to be a marriage overseas, they require that.
Mhm.
So that's if you get that call, that's your kind of
Blue.
entree, if you will, to say, well, where are you going to be using it? And they say, well, gee, I don't, and then you can kind of explain to them in your own way that, this is what is usually required. The Dominican Republic, the Philippines, all these places, very few of them will do a marriage without that.
Yeah.
For the basic reason that they don't want to marry somebody that they think is already married. That's a fact. But yeah, that's what that is.
Judy,
So-
in your experience, is that document notarized?
Yes, always.
It's notarized, and it's not up to us as a notary, Pam, to provide that document, of course.
Correct. He said, but they said there is no document for this, that it's something that they have to write out.
Okay.
I
It's a-
don't know, though. That's
So-
why I thought, well, I'm going to bring it up today.
Laura,
I
what do you
had to
think?
deal with this, and they actually went to the county. And the county ran a report that spits out a result that there's no record of marriage for this person. That the county actually signs, and then you can have that apostille if that's what's required.
That's what he said he needed. Yeah.
Yeah, so he has to go to his county, and I don't remember what the time frame was that, because I've done this for another guy for Mexico.
Mhm.
And there was a time frame, and the county signed off on this document that basically said it was called no record of marriage.
So
I
he
often,
needs,
people bring me the form. They come
No,
with.
I
the-
don't do it. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have.
no, they do.
Yeah.
And it's, my only thing about, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but if you went to the county and they ran that record, wouldn't that record just be if the county had no record of that marriage? So I'm thinking that when they sign this single status affidavit, they're basically saying, I'm not married, I wasn't married here, I wasn't married anywhere, or I was married, but my wife died or something. I think that that's what they want. I think and I have had on occasion, somebody come back and say, I did the single status affidavit and now they want a copy of my divorce decree. Or something like that. So I think it's important that to these countries that they don't marry somebody who's got a wife over here and a wife
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Right. So I should direct him to go to the county.
Well, the county would be for the entire state.
Right.
So it would find any marriage records if there were any.
Right.
For that entire state that he lives in.
So
Is that
And I
usually
think
an
it works.
acknowledgement or a jur?
No, it's not. We don't notarize it at all. It is a county signed document.
mhm,
So they're a public official. And if it needs to be apostilled, it's their signature that's being apostilled, not mine.
Right.
yes, it is. I mean, so is it the Los Angeles County Recorder's Office that he needs to go to, or?
Well, wherever your county clerk and recorder,
County
that
clerk.
sometimes they're in the same building.
Okay,
All I'm saying is that's where this guy got it from the county, and it was a record of no marriage over a certain time frame, and that would cover the entire state of California for this guy.
Okay.
So, and Mexico was the country.
yeah, this
for
is
the job that
Armenia.
I did.
So, yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Pam. Great question. Melissa, thanks for being here. How can we help?
Hi, everyone. I have a question about the hybrid certificates in California specifically. What is your thoughts on them? And if we can't get a hold of anyone, we can't pick for them. If we sent them both, jurat and an acknowledgement, is that even legal to do on the same document?
All right, let's, Laura, you want to jump in
Notary
there?
You know what? We have, is she still on here? Beth, are you here?
Beth Hathaway?
We just had this conversation. Beth, didn't we just have this conversation?
We did.
I'm trying to research for Beth. That's my homework.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
class.
see how it goes around.
Class-
Around.
Yeah, she has class time homework to find out if she can discover, if she's practicing her research skills.
Skills.
She's supposed to find out if there's a statute or a specific notation in the California regulations that say if you are confronted with a hybrid, and can you do a hybrid in California? And if not, can you, since you maybe don't have an opportunity to ask your hiring company whether they want a jurat or an acknowledgement, can you attach one of each and let them choose? So that was her homework.
So you want me to do your homework, Melissa?
Is that what I'm hearing?
Is that what I'm hearing?
This is part of my research because I have
Okay.
another, somebody else says, well, they just attach an acknowledgement. They don't even ask in California. So
All right, so here's what I'll start, and Matt may want to add, because he's California as well. We don't have a hybrid certificate in the state of California, and you may not fill it out. So there's where you can start. The second thing is how you decide what to do. The NNA recommends the jurat certificate because of the oath that's being required, which is in our jurat certificate, and it is not in the acknowledgement. If you're not able to find that, or to give them one of each.
so can you have two certificates on one document?
In the state of California, the answer is yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And hold on a second before you go, since I have Beth right there. And Beth, what's the state that we know for sure that's not okay?
Colorado.
Colorado.
Colorado has come back and said, oh, you guys are full of it. Our statutes say one certificate per signature. You cannot do both, and you cannot do a hybrid.
So could you maybe do one with the form jurat and then one with the actual form acknowledgement? But I'm just saying if you.
Well, you could duplicate it and do it twice, one way and one the other way. That's how you would avoid having two certificates on one, or if there were double signatures to the document and one was for one and one was for the other. So there's some ways to tiptoe around that. But in California, you don't have to tiptoe.
Okay.
Good
Awesome.
to know. Good job, Melissa.
Matt, I want to give you an opportunity
Matt?
to chime in too. Anything that you would
Yeah.
add in?
Yeah, and I feel for Melissa because the California statute and handbook doesn't come out and say explicitly, you can't do a hybrid. And most handbooks, in fact, don't say you can't do a hybrid. So just keep this in mind. If a hybrid is not on your approved list of notarial acts, the answer is no. That's how you remember.
Awesome.
That was such a great piece of information, Matt. Thank you. I hope everybody got that for all the states. If it does not give you a sample, a list or a sample that demonstrates the hybrid is part of your notarial acts, the answer is no.
Yeah, even if they don't recognize the term hybrid, because listen,
Right.
that's not a product of our industry. It's a product of the real estate and mortgage industry. So it's a term that most SOSs don't even reference.
Yeah, thank you, Beth, for that. Do you want to, we had a question in the chat, and I wonder, let's bring Beth back up. Since Beth is going to be one of our co-hosts in the month of May, you might as well get to know her if you don't already. And just let us, can you briefly describe what a hybrid certificate is?
Oh, sure. A hybrid certificate is where they're combining two notarial acts into one certificate. And typically, it's an acknowledgement and a jurat. So the jurat says, hey, you came before me, you signed the document, I gave you an oath. An acknowledgement says, you came before me, document signed or not, but you acknowledged that's your signature and you placed it there of your own free will. So they combine both an acknowledgement and a jurat, and a lot of states just don't authorize combining two separate notarial acts onto one certificate.
All right. Thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate that. And we'll see you in a few weeks, if not sooner.
Thanks, Beth.
All right. So before we move on to Julian, I just want to let you know about Texas. If you happen to be in Texas or nearby and you want to have like a TNT times 10 or 100 live and in person, I'm going to be speaking, Laura's going to be speaking, Judy's speaking, Jen Neitzel and Saron Mayweathers will be there as well for the Notary Evolve Summit on Saturday, April 15th. I'd love to see you there. I'm going to post the link inside the chat. You can go to Eventbrite and find those. You can also go to my Instagram in my bio and find a link there. That's going to be a really great weekend. And if you happen to be a Notary Business Builder member, NBB, I'm buying lunch the next day on Sunday at a really cool restaurant so we can all hang out and have some more fun. Julian Benbow, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute, tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Yes, I'm in the state of Virginia, and I'm a notary there, and I'm a Ron notary as well. So
All right.
my question is something similar to someone else asked it on another type forum. So my question is about the PS 1583, and I know the form, if you print the form, it has two pieces of paper with it. On the first one, at the bottom, that's where the notary signs it. And what I'm asking is there an attachment or like a sort of acknowledgement or something that's supposed to be with that? I'm not sure about that. On the second piece of paper, it just looked like a blank piece of paper with a line on it. And everywhere I went into the post office, there's always two forms. So has anybody experienced that?
Yeah, Matt, I see you shaking your head, nodding your head. What do you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah, it sounds like that's an intentionally blank page. And sometimes it'll actually say intentionally left blank page as part of the document. So that would be my assumption without seeing it.
Right. And because it's not supposed to be notarized, because on the first form, it just has where you sign it, but I don't see anything with notarial language on it that you have to sign it. That you have to notarize it.
So when you say you have to sign it, do you mean the signer or the user of the document, or you as the notary has to sign it?
You as the notary on line 15, I think, on the left-hand side at the bottom of the first form, it says that's where the notary signs. And on
Okay,
the right,
I've seen that on documents where it has place for notary signature, but there's no notarial wording, and you can't do that. You need the wording. Whether it's an acknowledgement, jurat, signature witnessing, you're saying there's no notary wording?
no, because I've noticed that a lot of signing services have you do the PS 1583, and I haven't done that yet, but I wanted to make sure if I got that order, I did it correctly, because I didn't know if you're supposed to put a loose leaf with that or what, because I know it's a lot of places that ask you to do the PS 1583 form.
So Julian, instead of naming numbers of a form, it makes it really hard for us to envision what you're talking about. Could you tell us what the form is?
It's the form where you have your mail go to another location if you're not going to be there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, you would need to attach a loose leaf or certificate. I get these all the time. I know what he's talking about. It's like when you sign up for a mail receiving service.
No agent.
They receive mail on your behalf. And you simply ask your signer, would you like a jurat or would you like an acknowledgement?
Understand. Okay, I got one other quick question. I thank you for that, all of you guys.
Sure.
If you have a power of attorney, I'm having someone right now asking me to do a power of attorney, but the person that's going to be the agent, his mother is the principal, but his mother lives in Venezuela and he lives in Florida. And from the research I've done about Florida, Florida needs two two witnesses. I'm in the state of Virginia, so being that I don't speak Spanish, and the principal, which is his mother, is in Venezuela, and she doesn't speak English. So should I just step out of trying to do this at all, or just leave it alone, or what would you all suggest?
So and this will be for a remote online notarization, correct, Julian?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And in Virginia, are you required to be able to communicate with your signers?
Yes. And it has to be, I have to be able to understand the signer, and that person has to understand the notary as well.
So if you speak two different languages, do you have a plan for that?
That's why I'm saying I think I might just step out of it, because I can't speak Spanish, so it might be good for me just to give it up. Or does anybody know anything else that might be helpful in that situation?
Yeah,
I
that's
see
a great.
Amy.
Yeah, I think Amy would be a great resource for this. Before we bring Amy up too, I don't like to just step out of situations, right? Like I always want to be a resource.
Okay.
So if I can't do it, I want to find somebody who can, and having a network of notaries or Spanish speakers can really help with that. Amy, I'm curious what your solution would be in these situations.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. So the question becomes, are you able to use a translator or not? And I can't remember on Virginia, but I don't think you can. I know here in Ohio I can. But if not, then I would have someone that you can work with, that maybe you could funnel things back and forth. So there's quite a few notaries specifically in Florida that do speak Spanish, and they are able to use biometric verification. So you can do international signers really easily with that. And if you need a recommendation to somebody, I can do that. Is it a real estate deal or is it general notary work?
It's a POA.
Oh, okay. So, it'd be general notary. Then, you could work it out with the notary, maybe split the money that you get, and that way you both come out ahead, is what I would recommend. Take total price minus platform and split it even. And you could even serve as the witness in the session as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Great
All right.
suggestion.
That is a good suggestion. Appreciate that. And I know you a little bit, Amy, so I might give you a call or.
Oh yeah, I know you. Okay.
I appreciate that, everybody. Thank you so much for helping me.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for being here. And Amy, thanks for jumping in and joining us. All right. Phil Shannon, great to see you.
Don't we all know each other when it comes down to it? It's so great to see so many smiley faces. I'm coming directly from, as Laura knows, rainy and cloudy and ugly California again. When are we getting our nice weather? This is crazy. As many of you know, in fact, some of you will be joining me in North Carolina. We'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina next week. I'll be there tomorrow morning. Well, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. So today is the last opportunity to come to our Zoom directly following TNT. Well, we'll take about 25, 30 minutes of your time, explain the services that we provide that protect many of the people that you see here on TNT, and also the opportunity, as when Bill and I spoke at the Side Hustle Lounge, the opportunity to generate an additional source of income that works very, very well in conjunction with what you do. So please join me at 5 minutes after the top of the hour, and we'll tell you all about the great services we provide and the opportunity to generate an additional source of income if that's what you're looking for. Again, always appreciate Bill, Laura, and everybody here. It's always great to see so many smiley faces, people I've got a chance to work with for so many years. So I feel very, very fortunate. So thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. I'll put my number in the chat. I know Bill's already probably put what he needs to put in there, but I'll put my number in the chat if you'd like to text me and get the link directly from me. Makes it a little easier sometimes. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Phil. And I hope you have a great time in North Carolina. Pam, welcome back up.
Sorry, it's back to my same question. I went to the recorders site, and it says, as far as divorces, it says the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder County Clerk does not record or house divorce records or information. It says record information for divorce filings is available at the Los Angeles Superior Court.
There you
So I
go.
would think that, but
That's-
I wasn't talking about divorce papers. I was
Okay.
talking about no record of marriage. Divorce
right.
papers would be the court.
Okay, so. Okay, all right, let me,
So- Yeah, he may not have been
Pam?
married.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not going to be listed on their website. It's a special request. They actually have to make up the letter based on their research in the
Right.
computer.
the client.
County clerk, when
The
your
county
client
clerk.
goes to the county clerk,
Oh, I see.
tell them, I need a letter explaining that there is no record of marriage on file in the state of California.
Okay,
It's not a standard form or
Right.
operation. It's a special request, but they will do it for him. It'll take some
Okay.
time, but they'll do it for
okay,
him.
all right, thank you.
Great. Dan, welcome up.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Yeah.
So my question is probably for Laura or for Matt or anybody, I guess. I'm interested in the practical application of using an embosser. In my state, we can use an embosser in conjunction with a notary stamp. We cannot use it in place of one. And when I got my embosser, it was interesting. I just got it and I was expecting it to have a lot of information on it. All it really has is my name, state of Oregon, and no republic on it. When I called the Secretary of State about it, they said that that's the way they are required in Oregon. We can't put commission information or anything like that on it. I thought it was going to have the same information as my notary stamp, except for the words official stamp on it, but apparently not. So what I'm wondering is, what's the practical app? When am I going to use that thing?
Good question, Dan. All right, Laura, when have you experienced using this?
So I use it for documents going out of the country for apostille work. I'm requested by signers to put my official stamp on every single page, and that's not possible. So I reserve my official stamp for the certificate, and I use the embosser in the bottom corner of every single page to tie them all together for that foreign country. They don't realize it's not official. You know, they think it is. So it works great. That's when I have used it the most. I have on occasion, if somebody's asked me, I've also used it for military base. That's been another time when there was instructions for the notary that said, if you have an embosser besides your ink stamp, please use it. And we use it in addition to, not instead of, because you got to have photographically reproducible image. So those are the 2 times I've used it.
So when I use it, do I need to get an inker as well to ink that stamp so it shows that they make a copy?
Well, not if you have your ink stamp already on there.
Well, I'm going to have the ink stamp on one page, on the back page where the
Right.
certificate is. So do the other pages need to have that be
No.
photographically reproducible, or is that not
No.
my problem?
Not your problem. It's never been required of me. They just want to see that it's something that ties, that all these pages belong to this certificate. And that embossment is a very official looking, seal. So Matt and Judy, I'm sure, are using them as well. So I can also defer to them.
Yeah, I'd love to hear other perspective too, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, I use it very much in the same way as Laura. It's never in place of my ink stamp. Occasionally, beyond what Laura's describing of kind of tying a whole document together, I have had a request from Cyprus that I emboss next to every single signer's signature. And I've used it that way before, because we can't just randomly ink stamp pages outside the notarial certificate. And that has satisfied their request. So typically the embosser is used for international document work, but never for domestic document work.
Judy, any experience in the embosser?
I use it the same. I use it the same way, especially India. India requires every page. There are other countries that require every page, and that's the way to do it. I don't really get very many requests to use it any other way.
Okay.
I don't.
Seems consistent. I know there's a segment in architectural work, I think, where they use those imprints. as well, but I haven't found a case study for it either. Dan, was that helpful? Answer your
Yeah,
question?
so what about a situation where I'm using a blank certificate or a loose certificate, and I use an embosser on, and we can overlap two documents and cross stamp to tie a document to a loose document here in Oregon. Could I use an embosser for that? I suppose. I mean, I'm thinking I may be too far out the box, and maybe as usual, Bill, I'm making the problem worse than it needs to be.
Well, here's the
yeah,
thing. I don't even think this is a problem. If there's no reason to use it, then
don't use
don't.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it because I became a notary because I used to play with my grandpa's embosser and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But functionally, it doesn't always serve the purposes except for what this team just described.
Well, and I do a lot of copy certifications for documents going to India, so it will be helpful for those, like Judy said. So I do appreciate everybody's help. Everybody have a great week.
Yeah, you got it, Dan. Thanks for being here. And I posted the link to Toastmasters in the chat for you as well, so people can join.
Well, we're in an off week, so I'm not going to be doing a big commercial, but look for me next week. We'll be all over it.
All right, sounds good. Kimberly Kendall in California, thanks for being here. How can we help?
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Okay, perfect. I came across some verbiage. I am in California, and the property for the loan docs today that I'm doing the signing in are in Louisiana. And I'm going to put it in the chat because I have no idea how to pronounce this word. I've never seen this verbiage before. Anybody know what that means? I just attached a jurat and
We see it in Louisiana documents.
I'm sorry?
I believe that happens in Louisiana documents.
It
That's
does.
what
I
this
just had
is.
never seen that. And I feel like this podcast, right when I came on this morning, this afternoon, it said you can attach both in California. And I was really happy to hear that because that's what I did. I just had never seen that verbiage before. I Googled it. Let me see if I screenshot it. And it still didn't make sense to me. I just was curious if anybody's ever seen it.
I saw Matt unmute. Matt, what's your take?
Yeah, basically it translates into once you use, well, in this case, that identification cannot be changed in the future. That's all that means.
Okay.
Cannot be changed.
All right. Thank you. I just attached both certs to it, so I should be covered.
All right.
Was it a hybrid certificate?
I'm sorry?
Was it a hybrid certificate?
For the ones I attached?
The one that was on the document itself. I'm just trying to determine why you attached both a jurat and an acknowledgement.
Because I wasn't sure which one to attach.
Oh, got it.
It just said the active mortgage, and then it has a place for the notary public signature and my notary commission number. So when it had that, I obviously can't sign it unless it has the notary verbiage. So I just did both.
That happens from time to time. You can also call your hiring party and ask which they prefer. That way you don't have to go through attaching two, but I think you'll be fine.
Thank you.
So, Laura, any additional feedback you'd offer on that?
No, I'm good.
She is complete. All right, beautiful. We've got about 5 minutes before we wrap up. Kimberly, thank you for being here. Glad the timing worked out. We've got apostille experts. We've got notary entrepreneur experts. What kind of questions would you have for Judy and Matt? This is their last week, at least for right now, hosting TNT with us. What kind of questions can you bring? KK, welcome back.
Sir, I asked this question to Miss Laura on Saturday, but I'm curious of Miss Judy's and Mr. Matt's response on when starting apostille work. What suggestions, Miss Judy? I signed up on I've completed your course, and I signed up to be a courier. But as a starting for apostille, how do you get the first one? What suggestions? What do you do?
All right, we'll go both Judy and Matt for this. Judy, you want to take the first one?
Oh, sure. How you get the first one? I think you have to, I don't remember how I got my first one, but I think you have to make sure that your SEO is set up on your Google My Business page and any other way that you are marketing. I think you have to make sure that when people say apostille near me, you're gonna come up, because like I tell people in my classes, no one's gonna go to sleep at night and just think, oh, KK is there, I can call him in the morning. So you have to be set up, you have to be marketing that this is what you do if you have a website. But your SEO is critical. Your Google My Business, well, it's not called Google My Business anymore. It's Google profile page, I think it's called.
Google Business Profile, yeah.
Google Business Profile, that has to be set up. And really, you have to get the word out there in your area that you do this, because that's the way you're going to get business. After that is when you can target market and you can say, well, I really want to go to international schools, or I want to go to universities, or I want to go to somewhere else. You can target market, but in the beginning, you want the phone to ring. And if you want the phone to ring, oh, how cute, look. And if in the beginning, if you want the phone to ring, you have to make it ring. And that is by setting yourself up so people know you're there. Matt, would you agree with that?
Don't forget to unmute, Matt.
Yeah, you gotta put it on all your marketing materials, your website, all your directory listings, all of that. And then go on a bit of an education campaign, because a lot of people have never heard of an apostille. So, you know, I put it on my business card, people ask about it, I tell them what it is, and they might not need one now, but they may need one in the future, or they may know someone who needs one in the future. A friend may ask them, what is an apostille? And they say, oh, you know what, I know what that is, and I got a guy for it. And then something else that I think that would be very effective is if you have an email list of all your current and past customers, you can do a blast and announce this as a new service that you're offering. So it's just, as Judy said, you gotta put it in front of people, keep talking about it, keep educating people about it, and then you can position yourself in your area as being the apostille expert, the apostille go-to. So that's how I get started. And you know what, guys? There are certain industries that tend to request apostilles more than others, but honestly, it's like general notary work. Everybody may need one someday. So don't limit yourself, because you know, everyone from personal people to businesses to religious organizations to nonprofits, they all need them. So don't limit yourself.
Excellent advice. You know, no matter which specialty you choose, your customers are going to come from two places: your online visibility, which includes SEO, everything that we're talking about, your blogs, your social media posts, your website, and your relationships. How you reach out, cultivate those relationships in those organizations that both Matt and Judy talked about that have a higher percentage of need for this service. Reaching out for that repeatable business is how you're going to make this business work. That's why it's so important to tell everyone about your business, whether that's people in your network, whether, like Matt mentioned, sending out an email announcement. I would even say, let's increase that. Let's 10x that. Write your blogs and then send out an email about the blogs you just wrote about that. Get the word out about your business. Right now, it's an exciting time to be in this industry. You've got ChatGPT 4 now that I'm just loving, that is changing everything in content creation. It is making it easier for people like us, solopreneurs, to create content and distribute content. This is an exciting time to spread your expertise, demonstrate your expertise to your audience, and attract the customers that you want. Guys, I just want to say, Judy, Matt, thank you so much for committing to an entire month of co-hosting Tuesday Notary Titans with us. We appreciate all of your demonstration of your expertise and your time and energy to help notaries succeed across the country. Laura, any closing words you might have for Matt and Judy after you unmute? We want to hear this.
We're having noise over here. So yeah, I truly appreciate both of you joining us. It's really great to be able to offer this audience multiple sides, different experience. And so really the value was really for this group. And thank you very much to contributing that. Glad to have you.
And I'll
Thank
close
you.
out. We'll do a kind of outro, like a clubhouse style outro. Judy, would you like to do an out? We'll start with you and we'll end with Matt.
Okay, well, I thank you again for having us. There's just so much value here and thank you for letting me share that and contribute whatever it is that I know. And I hope that you'll ask me to come back again. I will always be there for you whenever you call.
Thank you, Judy. Matt.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Judy. Thanks, everyone. This has been a great month. I really appreciate you having me. If you enjoy my perspective, I'm usually here every week. Sometimes I pop in and out. Also, Laura and I host a clubhouse every other Tuesday where we talk about similar topics and we really drill down on individual topics. So join that. Tuesdays, 5 p.m. every other week. The next one is next week, actually. We don't have a topic yet, but we'll come up with one. And then also, before I go, I want to let everyone know that we still have some books left. So when you sign up and join the California League of Independent Notaries as an advocate level member, you will receive a free copy of Bill Soroka's best-selling Notary Business Building Challenge book. Check that out at calnotaries.org. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all back here again next week.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. New co-hosts. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.